welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to the Talk Zone. No, seriously. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Talk Zone. I am your host, Adam Akery, and I am thrilled to present, or introduce it rather, my very first guest of all time. Wait. Yes. Well, yes, of all time, he has been my first guest, and that will never change, right? So I didn't say anything wrong.
I mean, Allison.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Fuck. Fuck. She's going to hear this.
Yeah.
Gonna be.
We've already recorded this intro 3 times.
Not getting any Jaggers tonight, unfortunately. No, but seriously, this is she doesn't count. She's fucking, she's like a low key, like a host kind of almost.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, she's almost like sometimes co-host.
Yeah, she's like Bill Burr. You know how like sometimes he'll have his wife Nia just kind of come in and be like, Nia, what do you think about this? And then she says what she thinks, and he's like, you bitch, and that's not cool. But that works for them, and. But anyway, welcome, Ross Bowman.
Yeah, you got it. I was almost like, oh, does he know? But I'm like, you have it on the messaging thing, so you probably practiced it a few times before I came over.
I literally checked like 10 minutes before you came over. I was like, what's his last name? I feel like that would be somewhat unprofessional if I just didn't know what your name was. But now that I know, the first question I have to ask is, Are you Bowman Field? I live right across from there. Are you related to those guys at all, or what's the deal there?
So they are a branch of the family.
Okay.
That
branch of the family
we don't talk about.
Okay. Were you guys like sailors? It's like a rivalry.
Yeah. Well, it's a treasure situation.
Really?
They had some buried treasure.
Yeah.
And. Okay. Well, it was my great grandfather's sister.
Okay, grandfather's sister.
And she buried treasure.
Yes.
And then they got the map, and they took the map, and that's how they were able to build Bowman Field.
Well, they probably made it because they know where it, they know where the treasure is.
Well, the whole family was present at the burial of the treasure.
Oh, so it was like a communal thing. Okay. But then they swiped it. They swiped that map.
And now they got the money to build an airport. And, they wanted to let me in.
And now they're just making a living off of the fees and the gasoline.
It's for rich people for Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard, weren't there some famous people flew into Bowman during the Derby last year, right?
I lose track.
Vanilla Ice.
Every year there is. I feel like Patrick Dempsey is always here. Yeah. I don't know. That's the last time.
Who is Patrick Dempsey?
I think that's the guy from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
I think
really?
He's McDreamy.
Oh,
so the last I may have heard of this was like 2006.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense because that was the height of Grey's, I think, right? Speaking of medical related shows, let me ask your thoughts on this. We were driving, so my girlfriend Allison, she lives in Cleveland, and so we traverse from there and back periodically. And on our way back, we were going through Cincinnati, and I saw a medical building, right, like a surgical center, and it had this huge poster on it, right, and it was a picture of 2 of their doctors. And underneath, it was like the names of the doctors. And then underneath, in huge letters that were clearly visible from the interstate, it said, "As seen on Botched." Right? So, like, my first question is, have you seen that show, Botched? Do you know what that show is?
I know what the show is. I've never seen it. Okay. I assume it's not something you'd want to brag about.
That's what I keep thinking. Why? Like, okay, so the show is about... I mean, I haven't seen it. So, but what it sounds like it's about is about doctors who come in and they fix botched plastic surgery jobs, right?
Yeah. Okay, so they come in and they fix the job. Okay, so they're like advertising, hey, some other guys fucked it up.
Yeah.
We have the guys that fixed it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But don't you need to know that information about the show before you make a snap judgment? Yeah. Just seeing the words botched underneath. Yeah. Like who wants to go to a doctor that they just know is on a show called Botched, nothing else.
Yeah, a hospital that's like bragging about, unless they're like bragging about, hey, we got rid of these guys. They're on Botched. They suck. They're not here anymore. Come back to us.
As fired on Botched. They don't work here anymore. Come back, please.
It's like a wanted poster. It's a warning. Do not hire these people. They don't work for us anymore.
If you see them, run. Yeah, that's got to be what it was.
They're going to be found doing like underground surgery and Escape from L.A.
Yeah,
like underground plastic surgery.
Did that happen? I haven't seen that movie in so long. Did that happen in that movie?
Yeah.
That was such a way better sequel than the original, I think, right? You think?
It's it's one of those sequels where everything is so much more heightened and wild.
Yeah.
That, if you want a little bit more camp, then you want to watch the sequel. I mean, he surfs a tsunami wave at one point.
Yeah.
That's what everyone knows about that.
That's the one thing I was just going to say. That's the one thing that I remember about that movie.
And he has to shoot some baskets in a time period.
He shoots baskets?
He has to shoot baskets in the LA Coliseum.
Oh my God, you're so right. And
so
like,
it's a
this
fun
is the only way to let you buy.
But like the first one's a little bit more dark. It's a little...
Yeah. The first one is like maybe one of the greatest movies of all time.
It is very good, yeah.
I'm a huge fan. And we should let the audience know, like, we've met, I think, we've chatted a couple of times, but we really don't know each other.
We haven't told our meet cute.
Wait, what is that?
Our meet cute? In a romance movie?
I've heard that word, but I don't think I know what that means exactly.
That's in a rom-com.
Okay.
When the titular couple...
Yeah.
First meet, and it's like, oh, I'm running late to my class.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm running late to my job as a surgeon.
Oh, and then they bump into each other.
Bump into each other, and then like she takes his scalpels, and he takes her paper, and then
they're like, you are, and then they lock eyes, and then they're in love immediately. Yeah,
or they hate each other immediately, and you have to go through the process.
Like, I think that's how Ugly Truth happened, right? They were like, I don't like you, and then they're like, yeah, I do actually.
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah. Friends. There's
the star-crossed lovers, there's enemies to lovers, friends to lovers. Those are the big archetypes of rom-coms.
Okay. So now that we understand the analogy,
we've defined meet cute for the people. This
is our meet cute, basically.
Yeah.
Like you've picked up my mic, I've picked up yours.
That's right. Yeah. Like, this is going to make editing really hard because they're labeled and...
Yeah, they're already labeled.
They're tuned for my voice.
Yeah. It's just going to be, like, nothing but, like, bass in this one, so...
No, we...
But my point to that is we don't really know what... I just took a risk by saying Escape from York. That's the best movie of all time, and you're like, eh.
It's got to be the best Kurt Russell character.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
I don't know. Have you seen Sky High?
You know what? I have seen Sky High, and you got a point there. You got a real point there. I think what we need is like a multiverse of all the Kurt Russell characters.
Yeah.
He did play Santa.
He did, and that was great. I really enjoyed that performance of his. Yeah,
you got to imagine they all gang up on the one from Overboard, though. They're like, "This has not aged well."
I don't think I saw Overboard. What is that about?
Oh boy,
huh?
Overboard is where he is a carpenter and he is working for a rich woman, and she falls off her boat and loses her memory.
Oh
and
no!
To get back at her, he pretends that she is his wife.
Oh, no.
And he brings her back to raise his children.
His children?
His children, because he's a widower or something.
Yeah.
And
they learn, and they all grow to love each other.
They do. It's very sweet, but it is so messed up. It has been rehashed, but yeah, he's out first. They kill him because they're just like, They want to forget that this existed.
So he doesn't actually make it in the movie.
No. This is the multiverse.
The multiverse.
In the Secret Wars of Kurt Russell characters.
Yeah.
He dies first.
Yes, dude. Now, would there be a villain of that? I feel like the guy from Death Proof would be the villain.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
With the race car driver.
Yeah. Well, you can't. They're trying to catch him the whole movie because he's just driving.
Yeah. Murdering women.
Yeah.
In his car.
And
they're like, we got to get this guy.
It comes down to him and Snake.
What'd you say?
It comes down to him and Snake.
Yes. And then Snake says, I don't give a fuck about your car.
I'm just here to... He doesn't have one of those epic lines. He's not here to chew bubble gum or anything.
Yeah.
I'm here to save the president. He's in your trunk.
And then he just shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established movie taste. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, not to change subjects here, but I really wanted to throw this out to you, a little icebreaker here. Okay, this is going to determine the future of our friendship.
Okay, I'm sweating.
I don't know if you are familiar with this concept, but I'm sure you are. But you know how people have like people who live in their house. They don't they're unaware of their own smells.
Oh, yeah.
Knee jerk. Does this house have a smell? And if so, what is it?
I don't think so. I don't have a super sniffer, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Not sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't get any sort of smell other than normal house smell. There's no dog smell.
Oh, really?
No
dog smell. Wow.
There's no
I would have thought there would have been
cooking smell. If you walk into my house, you're probably gonna get a whiff of onions and garlic because I'm always cooking with those things.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Big cook.
I'm a big cook. Check me out on Instagram. Ross _ cooks.
It is that, and that's how it's spelled. It's spelled Ross
underscore spelled
space _ symbol cooks.
Yeah.
With a E in there for some reason.
There's too many cooks on the page.
What do you cook?
Man,
what's your pref?
Cook. I love to try something at a restaurant and then see if I can replicate that.
Okay. That makes sense.
So it's, whatever the passion leads me.
Okay.
I will say most of the time it's spaghetti. I love spaghetti.
Yeah.
I can make spaghetti sauce.
I was going to say, are you making the sauce or is it a jar?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't bought jarred pasta sauce in over a decade.
Wow. Well, you might be the one to ask this then. How long? Because we got about a week or so ago. We got someone. Kroger delivered our groceries and a whole other house's groceries to us.
Okay.
And they had all these tomatoes. Oh. So we have a ton of tomatoes in the fridge, but I don't know how long they last. Do you think they'd be okay after a week? What do you think?
Yeah, a week is good. Yeah, I had some tomatoes that I had gotten, and I ended up using those, about a week and a couple days later. I mean, they definitely were starting to get mushy. There were some cherry tomatoes, and one or two in the batch definitely was oh, I'm throwing this out. But the rest were good. You wash them off, and yeah, pretty great. Okay.
So the sauce is still on, it sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
do you like to make ethnic food or?
I do. Yeah. I love
I feel weird
curries.
Saying
I feel
like I can't even say ethnic. Yeah. It's what even is that?
Well, it's
what were those things you were about to say?
Yeah, no, it definitely I love my wife loves Chinese food, so I'm always working on making new Chinese recipes.
Okay. Same. I also like to make Chinese. I have my fridge is just full of black vinegar.
Yeah.
And rice vinegar.
Black vinegar. Yeah.
And
you don't need to keep those things in the fridge, by the way.
Dark soy sauce. Is that right?
This is a big thing. Is the things you need to keep in the fridge versus don't need to keep in the fridge.
Yeah.
I
keep it all in there.
Yeah. No.
I probably shouldn't. What do you what could I
Vinegars don't need to go in the fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they don't spoil because they're so acidic.
They're so acidic.
Wait, so I probably don't need to put mustard in the fridge then, do I?
mustard is one of those things where you don't technically need to keep it in the fridge, but it will help keep its freshness. There is some like other, seasoning in there.
Yeah. So I got to keep that erythritol.
Erythritol, is that
fresh?
Is that something that comes out of?
It's just literally the first artificial ingredient I could think of.
I don't think I want to know where they get that from.
I think, isn't it? I don't know. That might actually be an artificial sweetener. Now that I'm thinking about it, who knows?
So I keep my mustard in the fridge.
Okay, hell yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like it cold, but
yeah, and I think that's a big problem for me too. I don't really like lukewarm things.
Yeah.
But as a topping though, like if I'm cooking with it, it doesn't really matter.
No.
So okay. Do you ever make Indian food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've come really close to that restaurant style chicken tikka masala.
Yeah.
I feel like all the recipes I find online are, I don't know, like fancier. They never taste like the restaurant.
Yeah.
I assume that's how maybe they taste in some upscale place. But I want your cashmere that is like probably just a can of tomato soup and some Indian spices and all that. So I have been I've tried a lot of different stuff, and ultimately I've come up with going the route of restaurants of a base gravy where you make it's almost like an Indian like stock, but it's a little thicker.
Oh, okay.
And it's got all the flavorings, and you cook that for like a couple hours.
Okay.
And then you freeze that, and when you're ready to make Indian, you can just toss that in, reduce it some.
Oh, okay.
Add in some extra stuff or whatever you're making, whether it's saag paneer. You'll add in some tomatoes for chicken tikka.
So you have a base, and then you can add other things to it to make whatever the dishes because it is largely. I mean, I'm not here to talk shit about any food, but it is largely like it is like soupy. Kind of like creamy sauce with rice and maybe a meat, but also can be vegetarian.
Yeah. I love some dal.
Some dal?
Yeah. Lentils.
Oh,
dal.
I have not tried Indian lentils, unfortunately. Every time I see it, I'm like, I should try that, but then I always just end up getting chicken, or lamb.
That's what it is. I mean, I wish that places still had lunch buffets. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shalimar doesn't have lunch buffet anymore. That's where I usually go.
I've heard about it. I've never had the pleasure of trying the Shalimar buffet.
Man, it used to be so good. So it's like whenever I go, I'm going to get chicken tikka masala.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, for sure. I always do I think I'm at a point now where I'll venture out, like I'll get a lamb sog, or I will get I'll do a curry. Yeah, I know, right? Just like the next, which is whatever the other sauce with chicken and rice is, I'll do that. But I'll get some, I'll put some naan in there. I like a lassi. Those are tasty.
Oh, love the naan. Love those onion fritters.
Yeah.
Like Bajan. And then those honey balls. And I'm going to butcher it if I say it.
I have not had the honey balls.
They're like Golam Jabbar. I don't know. Okay. I always say Golam Jabbar. And it's like, no, that's the thing from Dune. But it's these like, they're almost like donut-like, and they're soaked in honey.
Oh, really?
They're very good. Or golden syrup. Maybe it's not even honey.
Yeah.
But
I would love to try that. That sounds delicious.
That's a great dessert.
What do you think is the best? And this is for Louisville people here. What do you think is the best Chinese place in Louisville? Because I have an opinion on it.
I think like you've got your levels, so you got like takeout places, and that's just going to be very local to you. What's the best local place?
It's more about like who can get here.
Yeah. I think as far as like best overall, we had the Jade. What's it? Jade
Palace.
Jade Palace, I think, over here on Bards.
Wait, on Bards?
Yeah, there's one on Bardstown.
Oh, I don't know which one you're talking about. I was thinking Jade Palace over in off of Hare Lane, you know, like Westport Village.
Okay, yeah.
Area. But I don't know, Chinese on Bardstown.
Yeah, it was like across from the Mid-City Mall. Maybe it's not there. It's been like a year since we've gone, but they had really good.
Oh, Mid-City. Wait, across from Mid-City, I think that's Joy Luck.
Joy Luck.
Yeah, Joy Luck. Yeah,
wow. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
We got to make sure they get their shout out here.
Yeah, we got to get the right one.
Okay, yeah. Joy Luck. Okay,
Joy Luck. Right, I thought that was really good.
Okay, hell yeah, yeah.
But I don't think we don't do a lot of that fancier Asian. The fancier. Hey, we don't do that fancy Asian. We do like mall Asian. We do.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had? Goodness, I can't think of anything. It's over in the Jefferson Mall.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know the name of any Chinese place at any mall. All I know is that's the Chinese place at J Mall.
Yeah.
You know?
It's great. You go there and the line is so long and it's like, my wife's like, this has been here for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
I need to check out J Mall again because I'm a big fan of the Chinese place in Mall St. Matthews.
Oh.
And to the point where I've come to the conclusion that there's just some sort of conspiracy happening because it seems like every single mall Chinese place I've been to is just like just like through the roof better than any other Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is that they're doing, but it's like, and I think it kind of goes back to that conversation about, like having trouble finding recipes online.
Right.
And because it's too bouge as opposed to going to a restaurant that just, because I think what happens to a certain degree is you have like, like these bloggers, right? Like they're probably white and they're like trying really hard to capture like the most authentic experience.
Right.
Whereas like the actual like Indian or Chinese restaurants around town, they just want people here to like that food.
Yeah.
So they're just Americanizing the fuck out of it. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right.
So it's like so we're like, well, why is it so good? It's like, because we aren't actually making it super authentic.
That's why there's like a million El Nopals around here.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many El Nopals.
So many El Nopals.
We'll go to Cleveland. There'll be like 2 Mexican restaurants. I'm like, what is this?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's wild.
God, I love Mexican. I will say Mexican is probably behind making spaghetti, because spaghetti I can do like blindfolded. Spaghetti is what I will make like late at night if I want to make a meal.
Okay.
I will make spaghetti. I can do it.
Hell yeah.
But Mexican is, I really love making,
Yes, I do.
I do.
I just made carne asada last night.
Yeah. It looked really good.
Thank you. It
was really good. And some
delicious. Yes, that was sort of just a spur of the moment. Like I saw there was a kit, they got the elote kit at Kroger,
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got that, and I was like, well, I know that Bandito they put like Taki flakes on it, so I took the kit, bought Takis, and I crushed that up, and so I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. It was delicious. Which like it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to find to your point. It's hard to find the right marinade. I feel like I had this like every time I make carne asada, it ends up coming out like too sour. Like I put too much citrus in it.
Too much lime, or
I guess so. Yeah, but last night was perfect, and I think it might have just been because I put some orange juice in there. I think that's.
Oh yeah. Orange juice is really good.
Yeah, you need the sweetness.
You do need sweetness to balance out the acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I could talk about food all day.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. I'm the self-proclaimed fast food king, as I think you heard in the last episode.
Yeah. And I have to warn you, there is quite a resistance movement to that. Right? They're going to depose you if you don't watch it.
There's an usurpation in the works. Well, listen, I know, my title is based on just like knowing like when all fast food places close, just like on a whim. Like if you tell me like, you're like, what time is the Rallies on Brownsboro close? Which I'm like, well, they're not open anymore, but they used to be 3 a.m.
Which one's the latest? I guess McDonald's is open 24 hours. So removing the 24-hour places, who's open the latest?
I mean, it's definitely Taco Bell for sure. I mean, some of those places are open till 3, but I think 2 is probably.
No, I worked at Taco Bell. We were open till like 4.
Really?
When I worked there.
That's wild, man. Which one? Did you work at one here?
No, I used to live in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So
I was going to ask, I don't know where are you from here? Or are you from?
Yeah, no, I'm originally from Indianapolis. Okay. I went to like college at IUPUI. Okay. And then
so are you
moved down here later.
Are you a fan of what are those? The Colts? Or what's the basketball team?
Oh yeah, I love all the sports teams.
Yeah.
I follow them religiously. Okay. I love those. Yeah, the team with the horseshoe.
Yeah,
they're great.
Okay.
They won one of those tournaments, one of those championships years back.
Yeah.
With that guy that was on SNL, that hosted SNL sometimes.
Steve Martin.
Yeah, they won with Steve Martin. Yeah.
Nice.
And he did the whole thing with an arrow through his head, which was like...
I was going to say, Steve, I don't think it counts if the football was made out of balloons.
Yeah. Well, that's how, it's lighter than air, so you just toss it up when somebody gets near you.
Yeah. And then they fall, and then he catches it, and it's honestly a great idea. I don't know why they didn't think of it sooner.
So good.
Okay, so Indiana. Okay, so I see. Well, I mean, before I go into this bit, how are you about like you're aware that there's this like really dumb made up hatred between people from Indiana and people from Kentucky?
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that relationship? Because I love it. I lean into it.
It's
stupid.
I think tolls divide us. When you have to pay for the pleasure to cross a river, to cross state lines, or risk your life on a bridge that feels like it's going to fall at any moment.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
You do develop a bit of a rivalry. It's like, what makes Kentucky so great? Is it really worth $4? An extra $4?
Just to go see John Mulaney at the Yum Center?
Yeah, just to go see... who's the guy that sold his soul to become really big recently?
Bert Kreischer.
Yes. Oh man.
No, I don't know.
Oh God. Jack Harlow.
Oh yeah. Oh Jack. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
We love Jack. We're big fans of Jack.
You're loving on me.
No, is that what it was? I actually don't know any of his songs at all.
I have family that really likes Jack Harlow.
Oh, really?
But he just like blew up.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, he's been in the scene for years. But it's like, yeah, but like within a year, he was like everywhere and hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Isn't he like 26 though? Like how are you in the scene for years if you're not even 30 yet?
Right. Yeah, no, he did like a few shows and then it's just like huge. So yeah, he sold his soul to somebody.
Yeah.
Which good on him. I mean, you have to sell your soul to somebody to be big.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it must be done. It must be done. I really cannot think of like one big song, and maybe that's me, but like I feel like I know some of the big songs. Like I see Sabrina Carpenter on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, that new music video is something else. It's like an homage to Death Becomes Her. It's really nice.
It's it's wild, man. It's a phenomenon. I never thought I would be back into pop music.
Right.
At this stage of my life, but
yeah, you have that realization where like one day where you're like, wow, all the music I'm listening to is like 20 years old.
Yes,
like all from when I was in high school, and then you're like, all right, I am now my dad.
Yeah, it is weird how that works.
It is.
I was on a boat with some Gen Xers last week. We were on a lake in a pontoon boat, and it was like I felt like I was in a bit of a time warp because it was like, we're singing like "Livin' La Vida Loca" and fucking Seal.
Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose. And like, and Britney Spears, NSYNC, and I think there was I'm sure they played like the Macarena like at least once, And I'm like, you guys are listening to this, really?
Did you all do it when they played the Macarena? Did you stand up and do it?
I mean, I tried, but it's very hard to do that when you're sitting in an inner tube. But you give it your best shot.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I remember getting sent to the principal for doing the Macarena.
Really?
In class, distracting other people.
Now that's
to a principal's office.
I can't believe that. That doesn't seem like. Come on, like
it's one of those old teachers. What is this new thing?
Who thinks like dancing is like the devil?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they came from the Footloose town.
Oh yes,
they transferred.
We don't like no dancing in our town.
She decided to leave when they allowed dancing. They're like, this place is getting too woke.
Yeah, and then she moved to your hometown.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, that's wild. Did you get sunburn? Did you keep that sun protection? I feel like every time I'm on the lake, I get sunburn.
I was afraid that I was going to, but luckily I was okay. I mean, there's a little redness on the belly, but no, generally it was not too bad.
I'm asking the hard questions here. Real personal stuff.
You can ask away, man. Well, speaking of, I am curious, I would like to maybe get into this a little bit. So yeah. I know a little bit about your comedic background because we met in a improv course.
Yeah.
At Improv 502. But you said did you say you've written some sketches before? Or?
Yeah. I was...
How'd you get into this? I guess the question.
I was pretty active in the scene before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I started out doing some stand-up, and that was really fun. Right? Yeah, here in Louisville.
Okay. So you were probably at the Bardstown a lot before it closed.
Yeah. Oh. I did my first set back when it was called the Comedy Caravan.
Oh yeah.
Or wait, is that what it is now? No, it was called the Laughing Derby.
Yeah.
Back then,
the Laughing Derby. Yeah, I think it's just the Caravan.
Yeah,
now.
It's just the Caravan now. Yeah, people love the Caravan. The Laughing Derby was
that was when that was like the last time I felt like and I'm not talking shit because I also didn't like the name, but I just to note that was the last time I feel like I'd seen like an actual like big act there. Yeah. Like I saw Tom Segura there.
Wow.
Like before
that's big.
Became a psychopath serial killer.
Yeah. Well, he killed someone close to you, so we don't want to touch on that.
Yeah,
it's a sore subject.
That's being litigated right now. So.
Yeah. Well, you got the new one right on 4th Street. Is that where the Louisville Comedy Club is?
Yeah, that's a good club.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that gets the stars.
Yes, it does.
Tom Green was there.
Did you see Tom Green there?
I didn't.
No? Okay. Hannibal Buress was there last Saturday.
Yeah.
But it was like a 3 p.m. show.
Wow.
So I'm like, why would you even...
That's wild.
Why would you do that? Like, that felt like a little cash grabby to me, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, a club can't be making much off of alcohol sales at 3 p.m.
That's true.
I mean, who's coming in to drink at 3 p.m.?
Yeah, and you think Hannibal Buress, like his target demo, they're probably like stoners, so like they're probably not drinking anyway.
You need to have that at least an hour and 20 minutes after 3.
Yeah.
So,
well, you need to set it at 3, but don't actually start till like 4:30 when the stoners show up.
Exactly.
That's the move.
Yeah, you hit the formula right there. but
yeah, it's a good club. I've actually done a couple of open mics there, and there's a door guy there named Corey Miller who is like he just won like the funniest person in Louisville competition, and he's
did
really
you
funny.
Enter that?
No, oh God, no, I'm not ready. I just started doing it this year, so I didn't feel like I was ready for it, and I'm not really doing it as much as I should be. I do like once every.
I think that's what it is about stand up.
Yeah,
and there are some really funny people in this city. Really funny people.
Yeah,
but they hit the mics multiple mics a week, every week.
Yes,
and that's a grind you really have to have the heart for.
Yes. So how long were you doing, or how many open mics have you done? Or
I was in that grind set.
Yeah.
Hashtag for probably like a year.
Okay.
And that was great because comedy ultimately is all about connections.
Yes.
And I made some good connections, and then one of the local like actors opened up, like did this open call for a sketch comedy to start a sketch comedy show.
No way.
And the first meeting had a lot of people, but that dwindled, and it was just this perfect opportunity where anyone who hung around got to be involved.
Right.
And so it's like immediately you just get to like almost jump to the front of this line, because there isn't really a lot of sketch comedy.
No, there's not.
It's a very stand-up town.
Yes. Very stand-up and very, I would say improv too.
Yeah.
There
used to be a lot more.
Used to be a lot more, yeah.
Used to be a lot more.
There's more. It's more like, it's really just like Extra Crispy and Improv Anonymous, and Improv 502 is now getting classes back going.
Yeah, I think, and that's a lot of venue stuff. Obviously, the pandemic was this huge reset, and some places closed, and so it's people getting connections with venues and getting all that.
Oh yeah,
but I did Sketchy Stuff for like.
Oh, was that the name of the group? Sketchy Stuff?
Yeah, it was called Sketchy Stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
Because like at the first meeting, like she's walking around like, "Hey, are you all here for some like sketchy stuff?" We're like, "Well, that's the name." And it was great. We had what was really cool about it is you had comedians, and then you also had actors.
Okay.
And so you had this mix, this blending of communities. Here in Louisville,
a little bit of theater, a little bit of stand-up.
Yeah. Okay. So you get, working with these actors, you get some of their knowledge, and then, they benefit from our wonderful writing. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's important. That's like kind of what makes sketch comedy so potent, is you have kind of the best of both worlds. You have people who are really strong writers, right, doing stand-up, and then you have people who have the performance chops to really add like that extra little oomph to it.
Yeah. And we had some really good like improvisers, and I feel like a lot of sketches do come out of improv. Because you hit on something and you're like, ooh, if I just refine this a little bit, then
that's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
because I've only written one sketch my whole life, and it was like it was a couple months ago, and it we were doing this duo show at the Caravan, where it was like a bunch of people like signed up to be like, it was like partners. It was like comedian partners. So it was like, I think it was like 10 or 12 sets of comedians who were like going up, doing their own little routine. If they're they're doing stand up together or they're doing a sketch. And I think we were one of the only duos to do a sketch. And it wasn't funny at all, because I'd never written a sketch before. But I also, it was just like a weird idea. I just kind of pulled out of my ass. So I don't think it was really, maybe it would have been better if it'd come out of improv.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have the secret to writing. I'm not a writing expert. I would just have ideas, and some of them would be like really good. Some months I was really struggling. Like I wrote one sketch that was a retelling of the Monday Night Wrestling Wars, but instead of that, they're selling ice cream.
Okay. Wait, so what are the Monday Night Wrestling? Is that like a
so this is WCW versus WWF.
Okay.
It's now WWE.
Yeah.
And
so there were actual wars that were happening.
Oh yeah, it was this moment of silence for the wrestling warriors.
It sounds like there was a
That's
winner.
where the Ultimate Warrior came from.
Is that? Don't you go tell me shit. I'll believe it.
It's just two big franchises fighting for better ratings. Who's getting the better ratings,
right? And it's ultimately like, oh, we're all getting ratings.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, ultimately, WCW was ran by a huge corporate and an entity as part of Warner Brothers, and as soon as the ratings dipped, they were like ready to dump WCW, because none of those East Coast liberals wanted wrestling on their books.
They didn't actually want it on there to begin with.
Like Ted Turner's the only one that wanted wrestling, and then when he loses control of the company, it's like, well, we don't want this. We want to get rid of it.
All right, you can have it. Fine.
Yeah. So I did that, but with ice cream. So it's like real, like just now how I had to explain this to you. You imagine this is a whole sketch with ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine that sketch went over very well.
I mean, I think that's a funny concept, like the idea of like wrestlers selling ice cream, like, come on over here, get you a snow cone, brother.
That's right. We don't sell ice cream, we sell frozen custard.
The fudge pops are 2 for $3. And then I don't know where else you go from there, but
something about steroids.
The steroid pop. That'll cost extra. Especially if we administer it.
It has to go in the butt.
Oh, what was the butt? Okay, well that's cool. So you did sketch, and were you ever in any of the troops, or is Improv 502? Is that the first taste of improv that you had?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, pretty much. I did a few improv jams. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we had some improvisers in our group.
Okay.
So, I went to some of their shows and they would be like, yeah, come on the audience and do, one of those things where you stand in the back and then tap people in for scenes, to do scenes.
Okay.
But, I definitely was raw. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately why I've taken classes, is like to help refine that, maybe not always jump to like the most crass option.
Yeah. I know we were doing that jam a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I went to heroin pretty quick, and I was like, why did I go straight to heroin?
And I went to politics. That's one of my wheelhouses.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you a big politics guy?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I mean,
are you ready to tell us how you feel about every political issue right now to everybody?
Issue number 1, taxes. We need more of them.
What are they good for?
Issue number 2, abortion.
We need more of them.
We need more of them. Early, often, later.
Yes.
No.
We should be giving them out at bars in the bathroom next to the condom dispensers, abortion dispensers.
Exactly.
Right? Pick your poison.
We think alike. This is why I like you.
We get it.
But no, I mean, I follow the news.
I follow it very loosely. Like I went to school for political science, and
no way.
And it taught me just enough to want to stay as far away from it as possible. Like it taught me, and to be fair, this could be, this is, I wholly admit that this could be a weakness or a detriment to myself and the way that I live my life. But, it really does show you just how much of a machine politics is in the United States, and how much game playing you have to do to get anything done. And Allison, my girlfriend, she is, she works for a nonprofit, and when she was getting her master's degree, she was interning with Coalition for the Homeless, and just, she had to meet with like local politicians on both sides of the aisle, mostly Republicans, and she had to play this bullshit game just to enact a very, very, very simple piece of legislation just to make it just a little bit easier for homeless people to get access to copies of their ID.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like all that work just for that little thing,
She had to like trade away parts of the city. Right, to them. They're like, well, we'll sign this, but, I need you to give me 4th Street. We own it now.
She's like, I'll give you New Albany. How about that? And they said, you got a deal.
Well, yeah, we're going to expand our territory.
Yeah. So it's weird. I don't really hold, I mean, I have political opinions, but I also, I try to be as diplomatic as possible when I'm talking politics, like I try to, like, if I know someone has like very strong political opinions, my first instinct is to not talk about it at all.
Sure.
But and so now I'm like, oh fuck, do we talk about it? Do we not talk about it? What do we do? So that's where I'm at.
I don't talk about it, but I will jab at it,
Yeah.
Like I will, like at the improv with naming a villain alt-right. Yeah. They want to squash unions, especially if it's something that I think shouldn't be a partisan issue.
Yeah.
Then I will jab at it.
Yes.
But come at me, bro.
And that's the beauty of comedy. That's why I find it interesting as well, is because you can sort of take jabs, you can get in and get out. It's like you're bobbing and weaving without actually being like, no, this is what I think. And so it's
not preaching, but you get a message across.
Exactly. You create opportunities where you can sort of punch through the noise, and you can kind of get people's guard down before you just kind of.
And folks, this is why comedy is important. This is why comedians is the highest form of art. This is why what we do is serious and not some joke.
Yeah.
For our parents to be sad at.
We need to listen. We need to hang on to every word that Dave Chappelle has to feed to us.
Especially Dave Chappelle.
Especially Dave Chappelle. He gets it, people.
People who used to be relevant 20 years ago, you need to pay attention to them.
When they were funny and not when they were thought leaders.
Not when they were too rich to have any common denominator with a normal person.
Yes. I saw him once on the interstate, and when I went to college at Northern Kentucky, and we, so of course we were in Cincinnati a lot, and I'm like 80% sure I saw him in like we were going up 71 north, and he was it was like a Cadillac with it seemed like. There was a lot of chrome on the wheels and shit, and the windows were tinted, but I looked over and I was like, that's fucking Dave Chappelle, man. I know that's it, because he lives in Ohio.
Does he?
He lives in Yellow Springs.
Oh.
That's where he has his festivals and shit all the time. Yeah. And I saw him. I was like, I know it's fucking Dave Chappelle. And that was that was before he came back, quote unquote. That was a couple years after Chappelle's show.
How long did you follow him?
He immediately got off the exit, unfortunately.
And you didn't follow him?
I wasn't driving.
Oh, okay. Well, you grabbed the wheel. That's Dave Chappelle. We gotta go.
Oh, man. That's going to pick up well.
So you said you spent some time in Cincinnati. Yeah. I got a question for you.
Okay.
You fan of Kings Island?
I'm not a huge theme park guy in general.
I'm leaving.
I mean, I like a theme park. I'm just, I'm afraid of heights. And so I don't think I get the full value out of it, because I don't love roller coasters.
Yeah. You're not a coaster person.
I'm not a coaster guy, but I like the Eiffel Tower.
You just put your coffee on a bare table. So you're not a coaster person in any regard.
I'll put my beverage wherever the hell I want.
I don't care about the wood. Those rings add character.
Yeah. It tells you how old it is, I thought. but no. So I'll go to. I actually have not been to Kings Island probably since college. I mean, it's probably been years, but I do like Cedar Point. Have you ever been there?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say are you Kings Island versus Cedar Point person? Because
I see.
Those are the two Ohio ones. The Cedar Point's a little closer to Cleveland too, right?
It is. Yeah, it's a little bit past Cleveland. I think it's a little further
Toledo,
up.
I want to say.
It's
Sandusky.
Sandusky.
But I feel like that's
where they made Tommy Boy, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't remember. I make car parts for the American working man.
Because that's who I am.
And that's who I care about.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, I like Cedar Point. It's a good time. I like to buy shit there. And
but you don't ride the coasters. Because the thing is, Cedar Point is all about the coasters. As a coaster nut.
Yeah.
I want to go to Cedar Point. I went when I was a kid.
So you are a coaster nut.
I'm a coaster nut.
Okay.
I love it. I love the thrill. The only thing I don't like, which is not a coaster, so my statement's not invalidated, is I'm not a drop zone person.
Okay.
Because I get you with the heights.
Is that because of the elevator fiasco?
Well, certainly. When people get their legs chopped off
Yeah.
That does turn me off of an attraction.
Yeah.
Now, it makes me attracted to that person.
Sure.
But
because that's
off the attraction.
Yeah.
But
that's actually how we met. It was in a Facebook group for like people who are into no feet.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned from Dexter. I think they're called devotees. Dexter. So yeah, since that place, Cedar Point. Yeah. Yes. That's a destination. They've got several of the world's top coasters.
Okay.
At that place.
I did not know that. It was fun for me because
I just like the shows.
When my girlfriend Allison was waiting 2 hours in line to ride a coaster, I got to make small talk with her mother the whole time. So that was my highlight.
I'm always trying to get people to do like improv games in line. You know, lines are so long. I'm always just like, hey, let's do 5 things.
Yeah.
Let's do what am I thinking?
That would make it more fun.
Like, sometimes it really does work and people have fun.
Really?
Sometimes they're just like, it is way too hot in here. Why do you have this energy?
Yeah. Why aren't you like sweating profusely like the rest of us? In front of these, standing in front of these Mr. fans. Yeah. Should we take it? Has it been 30 minutes? Do you think
probably.
I feel like it's been like 45 minutes.
It probably has.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Talk Zone. That's the name of the show that I will get down by episode 4. It's going to be down. Unfortunately, Ross had to leave. He apparently had a cat explosion at home. He didn't really go into much detail on what that meant, so he had to leave, unfortunately. But it actually worked out. We have someone else here that we're going to have a conversation with. Show you guys how the sausage is made here in order to have
okay. I'll take it from here.
You'll take it from here?
I'll take it from here. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, this is now your show.
Right. Hi. I'm your boss.
Yes. Yes. This is what I was going to say. This is my boss.
I'm the boss of podcasts.
Yes. And your name is for the audience?
My name is Mark McGuire.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
No relation to any other McGuires. No Toby.
No.
Certainly not that baseball player.
Okay.
But
I hate baseball.
This is your 3rd episode, so I'm just here to check in with you.
Yeah.
And give you a friendly performance review, okay?
Yes, because as we all know, in order to have a podcast, you have to have a yearly annual performance review to keep your license to podcast.
This is the entrance one. We'll do another one in 6 months, maybe sooner. We'll see how this one goes. Okay?
You're going to slap a big letter on the cover art based on how this goes. So.
You look nervous, though. Are you nervous?
No.
Good.
Why would I be nervous?
This is just a friendly thing, okay?
I can't wait.
I do have a few issues, though. We just want to get them up off the top, okay?
Off the top.
It's important.
Let's do it.
This is the 2nd time you messed up your podcast title.
I know. I did do that.
Do you have any thoughts of how you can improve that?
Well, that's a great question. You know, I'll tell you how I've been trying to work on it. Every morning when I wake up and every night right before I go to bed, as I'm brushing my teeth, I will say the name of the podcast over and over and over and over again. But, again, the problem is it's happening while I'm brushing my teeth. So it just is, I
see that.
I just can't quite get the sound down. I don't know what to do about that.
Have you tried writing it on a chalkboard like you would in school, like Bart Simpson does?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you know where I could find a chalk board?
That's not my prerogative. I'm here to provide suggestions and help you.
Yeah, you're right. That's my responsibility.
I can't do your whole job for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
This is supposed to be a friendly performance review. I'm here to help you.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
Get better.
Thank you, Mark McGuire.
Yes. But yeah, you definitely. Repetition is the key.
Yes. So. And much like Bart writing on that chalkboard and also that show not changing at all in 30 years, I will absolutely implement that ideology.
So your assignment before the next podcast is you need to write that 1,000 times each day.
I need to write what? The name of the show?
The name of the show.
Okay.
Well, you're going to write it as a sentence. You're going to say, I will pronounce the name of the show, The Talk Zone.
Comma.
Correct.
2 commas or 1 comma?
2 commas.
To 1 before the Talk Zone and 1 after the Talk Zone.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when you're done, you need to diagram that sentence.
Now, what does that mean?
You need to make sure that you understand which part is the noun, which part is the adjective, which part is the subject, and the abject modifier. Okay. I need you to.
Can we go over that real quick just so I know which one is which, or should I figure that out on my own?
You know what? Yeah, we can go over that. So,
which one's the adject modifier? Can you tell that one to me?
You know what? I'm going to have to wait till you have a chalkboard because I need this to be spelled out. But I will say I is the subject.
I is the subject. Okay.
Will is the verb.
Will. Yes.
I will.
Yes.
Say.
Yep.
I think that's the adverb.
That's the adverb because it's like an action verb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the direct object, name of the podcast.
I thought that would be a noun. Am I wrong? Maybe I am wrong about that. And I could very well could be.
It's a noun in some circumstances.
It's a noun. Okay. That's more about context.
It is.
Okay.
So that's important. So right off the top, you got to say the name of the podcast. Right?
Okay. Done. Check.
So
we'll do that.
That's going to be some points off of your thing, but it's okay. This is just the beginning.
How many points can I lose here? What are we talking?
Well, we'll go over that.
Let's talk chatter.
We will go over that at the end.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want you to in your head. Okay. Well, this is just a friendly chat. This is a friendly review.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Okay. And I'm sweating. Sorry, I came in here hot. I had to get that out there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This is just for me. You're putting my best interest first, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Normally, I like to start these out by asking, how do you think you're doing?
Oh, man. Well, listen, that tactic has been played on me one too many times by my pastor, because every time he says, how do you think you're doing? It's just an opportunity to be told that I am not doing good enough. And that's what God himself thinks. So, but I will still attempt to answer. I still will attempt to answer.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing okay. I'd give it a 3.5 out of
100.
6. Okay. Well, 100. All right. Well, that's fair. I can't argue that.
You think it's higher? Do you think you're higher in that 100? Do you think you're more like a 30%?
I would say 36.77777777777 line over it percent.
Yeah.
Better.
What is that as a fraction?
That would be. I think it's actually, that is the fraction with the line over. You just take the 7 and you put it under the line instead of over the line.
Boss.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm just writing notes.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You're doing great. I like that. You know what? You have.
Can I see your license, by the way? You have a license, don't you? Right.
I am
a podcast review license.
Well, I make the licenses. I'm the boss.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
So I issue the licenses.
That's what I've always heard.
So I do have a license, but I make them.
You can use them. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can use those to drive. Yeah, I do. I often use them when I'm driving.
You use your podcast license to drive?
I don't have a traditional license.
Okay. What kind of license do you have?
Well, I have a podcast license.
That's right. You have a podcast license. That's right.
It's good for everything. It's a license to drive. It's a license to practice medicine.
Yeah. I heard those also get you 50% off at Los Aztecas. Is that correct?
It was 50%.
Wow.
Yeah,
50%.
It was 50%.
Oh my gosh.
But
no idea.
I canceled their podcast.
Oh.
And so now they will. Now they actually make me pay extra. So.
Really? Well, I hear that's the number one way to create a market now in Mexican restaurateuring is to have a podcast.
I like you added the ing. That's a good correction.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just going to write that down.
Yeah. All right. No, it's 33.56799.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
I don't know why I'm recalculating now. You're so right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So that's all right.
So you think you're doing good.
I think I'm doing okay.
You know there's room for improvement. And And we know that. There's always room for improvement.
I think that the only problem is I don't think if I'm going to give myself criticism, which that's...
Well, we're not at that portion yet.
Oh, we're not? Okay, so I just say what I do well, then.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think, I did enough talk on food, ethnic food. As the host, I did not specify what ethnic means. So
that's good.
Leaves it open up for debate, and I avoid causing controversy, which is my number one goal.
Well, you said that, but I was listening, and you talked about politics.
I did. I brought it up.
You talked about politics.
That's true.
And they were the wrong politics.
You're right.
So,
you're an RFK Jr. guy.
Well, as your boss, I'm apolitical. This is a professional setting.
Right, you're right.
We just don't talk about...
It's more about regulation.
Honestly, you violated a lot. You talked about religion with your pastor. You've talked about politics.
I did.
And the third one that I can't remember right now, but you just don't talk about those things, okay?
Well, I didn't talk about race.
No, you didn't. Well, you talked about ethnicity.
You're right, I did. Damn it.
But you didn't talk about race, so that's good. You're doing the right...
Okay.
Area of the line. So,
okay.
Yeah, just remember, nobody likes a politic about podcasts.
You're right.
Podcasts. Nobody likes a podcast about politics. Oh, that's a little mark I'm going to give myself, okay? I'm fair. I'm fair.
Oh.
And if I make a mistake, I own up to it.
Oh, we're reviewing the review now. I didn't know we could do... Okay.
You're not. I am.
Right. Because you have the license.
I have a license.
Right.
I issue them.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'll give you a little segment at the end to tell me how I've done.
Okay.
So just... Right. I'm saying so. Yeah. Well, you jumped ahead, but yeah, what do you think you're doing wrong?
What do I think I'm doing wrong? Well, I did not criticize vaccines, so that's probably a dig against me. Let's see here. I didn't take any. Calls or reader mail. Which I would like to do if I had any, mail at adamakerycomedy.com, send them in. That's a real address. That's not a bit. I would love to do that, but unfortunately I just don't have them in yet. My last podcast, we had a ton of marketing AI written emails about McDonald's because we mentioned McDonald's once. If they start sending that in again, I will read them on air, but that's, that's more of a hope than an expectation. So
yeah. No, I like that. You can be honest about yourself, but let's talk about this other podcast that you had, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about it. And that we don't want to talk about old podcasts.
You're right.
Right?
It's like old girlfriends.
I never got around to reviewing the license for that. So you sort of did that.
Yeah.
Like on your own.
That was off the grid.
That was unsanctioned.
Yeah. Okay? You're right.
And not like I'm sanctioned by the UN.
It was moonshine in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
So let's just focus on the here and now. This podcast.
Yep.
What's it called?
Talk Zone.
All right. I like it. You're doing good. You're doing good.
Okay. All right.
You're doing good.
Woo.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to tell you how I think you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
First thing is...
I can take it.
Look, I've told you a little bit how I feel. But first thing I want to say is the people in Cleveland are upset. I've heard a lot of complaints from the people in Cleveland about how you represented their fair city. You know that Cleveland's Metropolis in the new Superman, right?
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Cleveland is the Metropolis in the new James Gunn DC Universe Superman movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's right.
Have they put a trailer out for that?
You didn't know that, did you? You disparaged the whole city of fine people, and you don't know their accomplishments.
I know. I messed up. And I didn't even mention corned beef and pastrami once. Like I did not.
Well, that's more of a New York thing. I didn't say anything about
Slyman's, which is a great Jewish deli in Cleveland. Right?
Yeah.
I should have.
That's more of a New York thing. You're dipping into there.
Well, that's true. Well,
let Cleveland have, their rock and roll Hall of Fame.
See, now I'm turning.
Let them have Drew Carey.
Now I'm turning Cleveland on you now because they're going to hear that and they're not going to be happy because they love their pastrami. I'm telling you.
That's, you know what? I say come out.
Yeah. And who cares about rock and roll, right?
Nobody cares about rock.
Nobody cares. Give me some jazz, baby.
the people of Cleveland caring about rock and roll.
Right. We want them to be happy. You're right. I'm sorry. We got off topic. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and Drew Carey, and I didn't mention Drew Carey.
You didn't mention Drew Carey.
You're right.
You have to mention Drew Carey. You have to say, you know what? Is it so hard to say Cleveland rocks?
Should I say it now?
Yeah.
I would try to say that.
That would help.
Okay. Okay. Fuck. How do I do this? All little chicks with the crimson lips go Cleveland socks.
Okay. All right. That's gonna.
No, Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks.
If you want
Cleveland rocks.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Cleveland rocks.
All right.
Cleveland rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is gonna go on your podcast permanent record. Okay.
Oh, this is brutal. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's
Cleveland
a towel.
rocks.
You need to wipe yourself off. All right.
Okay. Wait a minute. This this says Guardians on it.
I may or may not be associated with James Gunn. Okay.
Okay. All right. Right on. Right on.
All right. So yeah, just gonna address that. Also, let's dive into the Fruity Pebbles versus Cocoa Pebbles thing. Okay.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want? How do you feel about what I said?
Cocoa Pebbles are superior, and that's just
You're going to make me say that right now. You're going to make me admit this on air? I just
want you to admit, you know what?
Yeah.
If you say they're both equal, I'll be okay with that.
Oh, no. Oh, Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles are both equal in weight and caloric density. Period.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's just going on there.
One is chocolate, one is not chocolate. Decide amongst yourselves.
And which one leaves the better milk at the end?
Ooh. Cocoa Pebbles.
Okay.
Leaves the better milk.
Right. Because you get chocolate milk. It's two things for the price of one.
Yeah.
What is fruit milk? They don't sell fruit milk.
It does smell like vomit. I will give you that.
What fruit is it? This is the problem with these Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. What do all fruits combined taste like? What kind of fruit is that?
That's a dung fruit. That's what that is.
Because it's like how all the colors make brown.
Yes.
All of the Fruity Pebble flavors make poop.
They make poop. Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah.
You can't deny it.
But not all stuff from your second episode. Again, this is early. This is the third episode. That's why I like to get in here early.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Let me down easy.
Get in here early so you can make corrections. We can improve our performance.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. You kick me down, then you raise me back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how indoctrination begins. And I got to say, you're doing a great job.
I like that person with you on your first episode.
Yeah. Allison.
They're good.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're good.
They're way better.
You know what they do? You should do that.
I should just do what they do?
You should do what they do.
Okay. Okay, I could try that.
Yeah.
I could try that.
When you're starting a podcast, just think, what would they do?
What would they do? Okay. Me say hey, me say hey, me say hey. That's what they do that.
Yeah. No, that's good. You're thinking already. No. This is going great. I really feel like we're making progress here. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy
there's
to hear that.
There's some demerits. But
is there hope for me?
There is some hope.
Mark McGuire. Mark McGuire.
Okay. Just going down on your...
I know. You hate Mike McGuire, your cousin.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you know him. So you've met him. So you know he's a real piece of turd.
Not as bad as Jerry, though.
No.
Jerry McGuire.
Well, he shows me the money. He shows me the money.
Yeah, and that is nice. That's a nice upswing. But he's so insufferable, though. I mean, at that point, you're like, do I even want to see the money?
No.
It's like, all right, you show me
Goodness,
the money.
And don't get me started on that kid. He's always just like, hey, did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds? And throwing these facts at me. And I'm like, yeah, it was cute when you're 8.
Yeah.
You're 22 now.
Come on, man.
Get a job.
Go to college or something.
Yeah.
You should have been out by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Love his wife, though.
Really? I've never met her.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
She had me at hello.
Yeah, and then you didn't want to say goodbye after that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
I live at their house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably rich, I would think, right? Because they get all that money to show
me
people.
The money. Yeah. So very good. Very good. But let's keep things professional.
Okay.
You know, talking about.
Let's do it.
All right. So the next question I have for you is, where do you see this in, like, I want to say like 5 dog years.
5 dog years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's like 1 year, right? Like, how many years is a dog year?
Well, 5 dog years.
Yeah, let's do that math right now.
Would be, you know what? Let's just make it 7 dog years.
7. Okay. Oh, that actually helps. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we don't want to do math. This isn't a math podcast.
Okay, so in 50 years, where do I see this podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I see billboards up.
Mm-hmm.
I see wraps. I see bumper stickers on everyone's flying cars.
Like
on
rhymes,
vans.
like hip hop?
No, like on buses.
Okay.
You know?
So you don't want anyone to do like a hip hop tribute to your podcast?
They could and they should, really. I mean, that is really like I do think that is the best way that this podcast could be communicated.
Welcome
is
to
in
the
rap
Talk
form.
Zone. Pick up your phone, give it a listen. Your brain will glisten.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just
Okay.
a little. I'm giving ideas.
I think it's a great idea. So yeah, I think that, and hopefully in 50 years I'll have the Patreon finally up and running, so we can make some money out of this bitch.
That's right. And of course, who gets a little cutback?
The review
podcast
board,
licensors.
Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
Then I'll be the one showing you the money.
That's right.
Right? Fuck
That's
Jerry.
Right. So do you want to? Do you think this podcast is going to remain a little silly thing that you do, or you gonna make this a little bit more? Are you going to benefit the world in some way?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah. How are you going to make the world a better place?
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna make everyone laugh, and I'm gonna make everyone cry, and I'm gonna I'm gonna finally unite the Middle East.
Touching on those politics still.
No, I said I'd bring it together. I didn't pick a side.
This isn't the Joe Rogan podcast. His license is on thin.
I'm going to bring on Joe. Okay, I'm going to bring Joe on.
All the Joes?
Nope, just Joe Rogan. And I'm going to bring the Ayatollah of Iran. And they're
you're missing an opportunity to bring on the Ayatollah Rock and Arola. Chris Jericho.
Well, he'll be on standby. If we can't get the Ayatollah of Iran, he'll be back up. And they're gonna do an MMA fight. And
an MFA, no, Masters in Fine Arts.
Yeah, a multi-factor authentication.
Yes.
Because the real problem with this nation, with the world, is all of the hackers out there trying to get access to my hard drive to get all the pictures off of it.
Yes.
At least that's what my grandpa says.
Licenses, it's a nightmare.
It's not great. But, Iran wants to fix that, and so does Joe Rogan. So if I can get them in a room together, that will bring peace to the Mideast. Okay. And that's how I'm going to make the world a better place.
Okay. You know what? I like that. I like that.
Okay.
You know what? You sound like you have a plan.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna move on from these early struggles. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna focus on the future.
Yeah.
We're gonna focus on how we can make things better. Okay.
Yes.
What are we doing for next time? We're gonna have. What's the name of the podcast?
The Talk Zone.
That's right.
Not the Talk Zone.
No.
Not SEWN. ZONE.
Not the Discovery Zone.
Not that. Although hey. DZ,
if you build it, they will come.
If we could bring it back, I would. If I could talk to the former CEO of DZ Discovery Sound, just to really see where it all went south, I think we gain a lot of insight from that, and I think millennials in particular would really be able to finally resolve a lot of trauma by hearing about what happened to them, because I think that a lot of the problems that we have today, at least in our generation, stems from just a lot of rug burns, from TZ Discovery Zone.
Yeah, lawsuits. That's what you got to watch out with, buddy. Yeah. All right?
I'm going to try, man.
You got to watch out for that.
I'm going to try.
So, to summarize, I'm going to give you a satisfactory rating. Okay? That's great. Most podcasts are satisfactory. All right? There's only a few exceeds expectations. Podcast. Okay, you got to be really good. You got to go above and beyond. I need you doing podcast overtime. I need you to be selling merch. That's its own industry to begin with.
I mean, I'm no Scott Aukerman, so I understand. I get it.
Exactly.
I'm no Comedy Bang Bang.
You can't be. We can't all be. They can't all be Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah. It's like Conan needs a friend.
They started their own world.
A satisfactory podcast.
You do.
Yeah.
So satisfactory. That's good. Hey, you still got room to grow.
Okay.
All right. And the good thing is all those demerits I've given you.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you down to, you could be in a poor. You could be in the poor category, okay?
Okay.
In which case, we'd be having a different talk right now, all right?
Yeah. So can I cash those in, by the way?
Yeah, well, you're going to have to wait 6 months till you're vested.
Okay, 6 months till I'm vested. And then would I get 2% off each demerit?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
So, So I just want you to keep up the satisfactory work.
Okay.
And focus on getting that name right, and you will be A-okay.
Okay.
I think I come back in
6 months? Or whenever you want. Also, welcome in anytime.
I have to be available to do random inspections and drug tests.
Yes.
Make sure you're on all the right ones.
Very important. It goes against my faith. So I think if anyone in this organization is not on the level, I would like to know about that.
We could lose federal funding.
Yeah, we could. It's important.
It's important.
Yeah.
But
all right, well,
I'll come back in random times, but certainly 50 years from now and see how you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that works.
Just to wrap things up, do you have any suggestions? Not suggestions. Just how did you feel about the performance review? Was I fair?
Here's the thing. I would not tell Leonardo da Vinci how to paint, right? I wouldn't tell Paul McCartney how to strike a chord, okay? So I don't think I can really tell you how to review podcasts. I think this has been great. I think, as far if I could compare it to my series of rectal exams, I would put it right at the top.
Go in there with that crass humor. We almost got out. I almost walked away. He almost walked away with a satisfactory rating. Okay.
Yeah.
But now.
Oh no.
Now you're at a exceeds expectations of poor.
So you're still
you're
not poor.
Down, but you're the higher end of poor. Okay.
So I'm like a D+.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can see that's where you lived as a student.
I had a couple.
All right. So this has been great.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing what you're doing. And I hope that I don't have to come back with any more demerits, okay? Next time it's going to be super positive.
Okay, well, I can't wait. Cannot wait for another Rectal Exam / podcast review. Thank you, Mark McGuire, expert podcast reviewer. Excellent credentials. And as well, thank you to my very first guest, Ross Bowman. Was a pleasure.
Yeah, never have him on again. That's part of it. Okay. If you have him on again, we're going to have some words.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, he's done. He's dead to me. All right. All right. Well, hey, there we go. That's our show. Thank you very much. And
what's the name of the show again?
The Talk Zone.
All right.
We'll see you next week.